Truth Talk, your source for unbiased daily political news.
What's going on YouTube? Yesterday, Bernie Sanders won the state of Indiana with 52.7% of the vote, picking up 44 delegates, to Secretary Clinton's 47.3% of the vote, picking up 38 delegates. Now, if you saw my video yesterday, I encourage people to vote for Bernie Sanders even though he doesn't have a viable path to the Democrat nomination. And it looks like the people of Indiana voted for Bernie Sanders even though he doesn't have a viable path to the nomination, and they know that too. 75% of Indiana Democratic primary voters understood that Hillary Clinton was going to get the nomination, and 53% voted for Bernie Sanders. So there you go. That's 20-30% of people that know that he's not going to get the nomination, but voted for him anyway. And in the upcoming states, Bernie Sanders supporters, you guys still have a chance to strengthen your candidate and to make Hillary Clinton work for your guys' vote. And the more you guys make Secretary Clinton work for your vote, the more progressive of a candidate she's going to become. The stronger showings that Bernie Sanders has in the upcoming states, the more progressive Hillary Clinton is going to have to be to appeal to you guys and gals. Donald Trump recently has been making statements saying that Bernie Sanders should run as a third-party candidate because he's been treated so unfairly. I think this is pretty easy to detect what's going on here. Donald Trump is just trying to get Bernie Sanders supporters to start asking Bernie Sanders to run as a third-party candidate to benefit him. It doesn't really have anything to do with him being upset that Bernie Sanders is getting treated unfairly. He just wants Bernie Sanders to run as a third-party candidate, so it ensures that he's going to be the president. Because if Bernie Sanders does run as a third-party candidate, it means Donald Trump is going to be president. There's no doubt about it. Hillary Clinton is going to lose a lot of votes if Bernie Sanders runs, and even by her losing all those votes, it's going to be harder for her to win battleground states like Ohio, Michigan, Pennsylvania if Bernie Sanders is also running in those states. Donald Trump is going to get the majority of votes then in those states. So when Donald Trump says that, I guess it's a little bit of trickery. I don't know exactly what you want to call it, but he's just trying to get Bernie Sanders to run as a third-party candidate to help him. He's not really upset that, Bernie Sanders has been treated unfairly and he should run as a third-party candidate because the Democratic Party is against him. Which, that could also be true, and I think that is partially true. I mean, if you look at the superdelegate count, I think Bernie has like 20 or 30 superdelegates, and Hillary Clinton has a couple hundred, I think 300 or 400 superdelegates. So the odds are really stacked against them in that respect. I don't think the superdelegates should be overwhelmingly supporting Clinton like that when, in all fairness, the elections have been pretty close. I know Clinton has gotten more votes and has won more states than Bernie Sanders, but Bernie Sanders has had a pretty strong showing as a candidate. I mean, he's won a lot of states, he's gotten a lot of votes, he's gotten a lot of people enthusiastic about his campaign. He's brought probably a lot of new people into the Democratic Party who were independents before or who were young people that had never voted before. So, I mean, he did, he put up a really big fight, and he's still fighting. He's still, fighting for what he believes in. He's not going to be the nominee, but he's trying to get Hillary Clinton to become a more progressive candidate and maybe get her to agree to some conditions for his supporters, meaning he'll go to Hillary and say, I don't want money in politics anymore, your campaign, and you should come out and denounce money in politics, come out against Citizens United, and if you do that, I'll tell my supporters to support you. Like I said in my last video, if you guys saw my last video. So, again, Bernie Sanders wins in Indiana. It is a big deal because as long as he keeps winning states like this going forward, it's just going to make Hillary Clinton a more progressive candidate, and it's just going to help you, the Bernie Sanders supporter, get a candidate that is easier to vote for, because just keep voting for Bernie Sanders and she's going to become more liberal. She goes, she's going to try to hold on to your support. She doesn't want Bernie Sanders supporters going to Donald Trump, which, if you've seen in my last videos, is also, there's a small possibility of a small contingent of Bernie Sanders supporters voting for Donald Trump just because they're distaste for Hillary Clinton and she's the ultimate insider, and Donald Trump was the ultimate outsider, and Bernie Sanders supporters are tired of the status quo, and things of that nature. If you guys like this video, please drop a like. If you guys have any questions or comments, leave them down below, and please subscribe.